Welcome back, LJLers. We are here for the final game of the day. It's V3 Esports versus the Fukuoka SoftBank HAWKS gaming side. Both teams struggled a lot this spring. We've seen sort of things develop over time for the HAWKS. They're getting a bit better. That foundation coming together. Unfortunately, not the case for V3. J-Real, what have been your favorite moments as the HAWKS have built up over spring?
It's one word, Rel. I think Rel has been the shining moment. I think the light radiating from the sun off their armor has brought brightness to the Hawks' land. I think that it's just been really good. You know, like every time Ryan has played it, it's felt like they can win. You know, like that's what I'm saying. There's been some huge ultimates. And yeah, you have some stats on that, don't you?
Well, I was looking up just anecdotally to see what Ryan had. Over 13 games of Rel, their sixth most played champion, 84.6% win rate. Insanity. This person just doesn't lose when you give them the Rel, and I think that is very well put by you. This is the hope of not hope of V3. It's the hope killer of V3 at the end of the day. It's the hope of HAWKS.
I hope indeed. Moving that over to V3, we saw a decent performance from Washidai last week. I personally enjoyed the Camille. Thought that V3 showed some glimmers where they haven't maybe previously. J-Real, we've seen many teams struggle in spring. We've seen many things happen like this across the globe. Any particular ways you think V3 should approach this, or anecdotes from history you think apply?
Yeah, I think V3 needs to just be like, look, this is the LJL box, right? At the moment, they're playing inside this box. They don't need to just get out of the box. They need to scrunch up and throw that away, you know? Throw that box away, play some new stuff. Just be inventive, just be a bit crazy. Because the thing is, yeah, people be like, oh, but this is the meta. Yeah, well, the meta's not working for them. So dash that, pick some stuff that you like, play something that's a bit different, and give the Hawks something that they're not used to looking at, and you might have a chance of picking up a win.
Maybe. So J-Real's got to escape the box. Melvin, we've sort of done this hypothesizing before about teams. Which way would you like to see V3 come back in?
Well, the thing is, I think that this is the right time to experiment. That's definitely the shout where they should just try in different picks, see what works, see if there's anything that the players want to do, anything that they think stylistically works for them. Work on comms. That's the main thing. Work on the intangibles. You're basically out of playoffs. I think they are completely out now.
Yep.
So don't even worry about this on the specific opponents. Just keep giving these rookies some stage practice. That's the important part, because we've seen rookies like Axis of last year, no changes in the roster, no changes in the coaching staff. They went from bottom place team to third place team over the course of a couple months. And it's just a matter of working on the training routines, making sure the players are learning about the meta. MSI is going to happen between now and summer. You're going to have plenty of time for all these players to warm up. So at this point, I would say just let them do what they do. There's not too much chance for you to really make any waves.
Low pressure environment, Melvin Izzle's prescription for V3 here. Whether it will produce a win in the last few moments of our third round robin, a fantastic question indeed. We've seen the HAWKS develop as we continue on our development theme over the course of spring. We could say they've built up a foundation on which they now need to improve and actually put the house together in summer. They need to finish off the projects and bring these superstar players to fruition. J-Real, in which way, except pick more Rel, would you like to see the HAWKS develop? Would you like to see maybe them adapt to what is going on right now?
I feel like I said, like, I've made a lot of bird jokes about the Hawks, right, throughout this season. And I think the last one I made, and I think it's still true, is just pick up the pace of it. I feel like they were kind of slowly playing a lot of these games, kind of playing for scaling late game, but then they were making mistakes or getting behind and then not having like any win conditions. I feel like just speed up a bit, you know? Pick up the pace, try and get another game win.
Pick up the pace. The prescription from J-Real. Whether V3 stay in your box, whether the HAWKS get really excited and push it forwards here, we will find out. It is time for the game. Take it away, J-Real. Melvin Nizzle on to game 4 of the LJL.
I am so excited for this game. Everyone is calling me crazy because of how excited I am for this game, but this is going to be a banger, Melvin. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be lit. Volibear banned away, Zeri banned away. It's the Viego.
Oh my
God. They've taken off the Rel. They've lost the Rel.
Okay, the V3 officially win their first game in Champions Select. Hear it here first, kids. As we do also get the Tryndamere removed. And obviously, Reiner is not literally a one-trick. They played a lot of champions, but The only time that Hawks seem to have it together is when they get their rel. So now the question is, what on earth are you going to be pulling together to try and go for it? There's things like maybe other engagers like the Nautilus. I did see earlier on in the split they had a killer set game, and they were very, very good on it in the previous split. I doubt that'll be anything first pick related. Hecarim, there we go. That's a lot more on theme for the meta. Very nice champion, and also something that Blank has played a lot in the past.
Yeah, it's definitely very strong as we haven't seen the Xayah almost immediately picked up there. So very aggressive one from Dresscode. And to be fair, we've seen some pretty good Xayah gameplay in the last few days of the LJL. So I'm not against it as we see it. Trundle.
Now, I can't remember this for certain, but I'm pretty sure Unica did play the Trundle when they had their mini debut in the playoffs last split, if I'm not completely wrong. I'd love to find out if that is the case, because they haven't played it this split in the regular season. And it makes a lot of sense into the Hecarim. Both of these picks do, because Hecarim wants to dive in on the ADC. Xayah says, not today. And the Trundle eats your resistances when you go in and just gets to kill you with the team. So this is a lot of focus put specifically onto Blank. Now, Hawks have the chance to pivot the rest of their comp to counter that. They go first with the Kai'Sa, and now they are hovering onto a mid lane pick.
An interesting early pick there of the Ryze. Obviously, it could still be all switched around. Maybe they go top lane Ryze, maybe they go mid lane Kai'Sa. Not necessarily what I think will happen, but obviously they still have a little bit of flexibility with their comp. I am surprised that they picked Ryze so early, but as I said, obviously there are ways to build it, and obviously you can also go for that tank Ryze build, which does give you a little bit more sustain.
Did get nerfed a slight bit on the... Actually, I don't think it was this patch at some point. No, it was. Yeah, it was definitely this patch. It was the halfway through this patch, that's why, where they basically changed it so you get less AP based on your mana. You need to have more of the actual AP to be dealing damage, and you are rewarded less for getting this tank build. Doesn't kill it by any means, but is just something to keep an eye on based on how that goes. When you're against a Syndra in lane, though, I have a high degree of doubt you're building armor in the first place.
Yeah, yeah, that would be a little bit of a misread indeed. As V3 rounding up nicely with the Syndra there in the first three picks. I definitely feel like they need a little bit of engage, a little bit of ways to actually access this fight, because so far they've got a lot of ways to keep themselves safe and disengage, not necessarily a lot to lock down the Hawks.
And we're just going to have to wait and see how it develops. Obviously, Rakan is still open to pair with that Xayah as an option. Don't think it's the worst pick in the world, and it is, I'm not going to say a decent takeaway, but Kai'Sa does like to have the Rakan. It would work very well with the Hecarim. I don't think it's the most prevalent pick in the meta right now, but when you're comparing it to stuff like Leona that can be picked up, I understand why we haven't seen a lot of focus towards that champion as of current.
And Renata being banned away there, I am surprised. I know that Reina has played it, but considering how we kind of saw last game, it does seem a little bit off, but I do really respect the Nautilus ban that they did throw in earlier. Obviously, Kai'Sa Nautilus, just a notoriously dangerous bot lane.
So I suppose part of the logic is Renata does actually have the two-part CC with their Q, where first it does the root and then it does the move. So I guess it makes sense, as we do see one of the most banned against the Hawks. Now, it's going to get locked in. Come on, show me what you got. Are you going to pick a blind top laner, or are you just going to lock in that Rakan?
I like the Rakan a lot. Keep the lovers duo together. It's good engage as well. Gives you that mobility. I think it's a good pick here. I like it a lot. Also, I can't think of any really hard counters into the Xayah Rakan. I feel like it keeps their lane pretty stable.
Not necessarily for the Xayah part, but in isolation, the Leona does a really good time into the Rakan. We'll have to see what else gets picked up to go with that, because at the end of the day, if you're Leona jumping in, then the Xayah likes it. And we do get that set we were talking about earlier, another pick that Reina has adored in the past. And even earlier on in this split, they had actually, I tell a lie, it was last split, I'm remembering the wrong highlight. Never mind. Sorry, Reina, but you're good on the champion, we know that.
He's good on the champion, and obviously, there is potential for it to be flexed to the top side, but it does look very similar to go to that support. It is going to be, well, an LJL classic right there. The Gnar going to be picked up there for Kanatu.
Oh, what's old is new again? What's old is new again? Let's find out what V3 want to take into this. Will we get a happy little Renekton, or will we get an actual champion? Pretty please. Don't know how I feel about that. At this point, I'm starting to look at what the potential champions that Washide could pick. Something new would be nice. mainly looking across, something that with counter engage is really the way to go. As they go for the Akali. All right.
I don't know if it fits, but I'm happy to see it. Like I said that I wanted to see some new stuff. Well, Shadai hasn't played the Akali this season. It's new. The Trundle is new. I kind of got what I wanted.
Yeah, I did too, but I feel like it may be a monkey's paw situation where I'm not sure what V3 are thinking with this comp, because I was trying to make sense of it where, okay, you have the Trundle, they make somebody squishy, then you kill them with the Syndra. Cool. That's a very isolated combo. As for team fights, nobody actually helps the Rakan get in there. They could get on the back of Akali as they go for dives in, but that's not the same as having a Hecarim or a Malphite that actually does the initiating for you. This is going to be a lot more of a difficult window for Hertel to execute on. And I feel like putting that kind of pressure, especially against Reiner, who is on their signature set back from 2020. They were the MVP on this bad boy. And when you could just point and click grab the Rakan as they're dashing in and yeet them away, I don't know. I'm not completely sold. I feel like this is going to be more of the same from V3.
It does seem like a tough game. They're relying on perfect execution.
I feel like you got a butt coming for me. Go on.
They're relying on perfect execution, but you never know. You know, they might have stirred up the chaos enough to cause big problems. You know, I think that it's what I wanted, right? I said throw the box away, pick some stuff that is just new, something that's a bit different, and it could catch the Hawks out. You know, obviously a little bit hard to execute, but it could be a sentiment of they win early, they get a lead, they snowball. We've all played against Akali. No one enjoys that.
No, that is very true. Akali can most definitely 1v9 games, and an area of weakness that I would recognize for the Hawks' comp is if they are put behind, they're kind of rubbish at getting back into the game after. If this Gnar gets beaten up in the early game, if Hecarim gets invaded by Unica, they can't fight back, especially if you are doing the typical Hecarim strategy where you start Q and then you level up Q a second time after you've cleared one quadrinary jungle so you can fast clear. If you get invaded at that point, you cannot gank. You need that level 4 to gank. So there is a real window where if V3 are proactive on the invade, then potentially Hawks' game plan might get chucked up in the air and we could see that 0 turning into a 1 in the victory 3 column.
It's what I want to see. You know, I said I'm excited for this game. It's because I want to see V3 pick up the win. I want to see this 6th race playoffs spot race just absolutely explode, because if the Hawks lose here, them and Axis have some pretty tough schedules. They have to pick up a win against strong teams, and it just makes it even more interesting. So for me, I'm really hoping V3 can find it. Kashka has a whole meme folder that I want to see as well if V3 wins. So I'm really looking forward to this one, and I'm hoping that maybe this difference is potentially going to bring back some cool switches up. You know, maybe V3 are going to be able to find it.
Yeah, they can't make playoffs, but at least they can, you know, have a good time upsetting other people at the end of the day.
I meant the Hawks versus Axis. They're 6th place race.
Oh, okay. Now I see how you mean it. I'm with you. Anyway, not much going to happen early. We do not have Unica invading. This upsets me fundamentally.
That's a little bit of play in the bot lane, but not much. Blitzcrank though, Blitzcrank doesn't agree. He thinks the Hawks are basically always in favor and always ahead. So we'll have to see if Blitzcrank is correct. Maybe that math's a little bit off.
Well, you do have some I'm trying to think of the way to put this, because V3 have a lot of niche combos that work in specific situations. Basically what they've done is they've done a poor job of making like a card game deck that's coherent. They need to draw exactly the right hand to win. For example, mid lane, Trundle puts down Pillar. That is a free stun from Yu-Gi-Oh! Dasher should die. That's great. Bot lane, you have Zyrakan. Enough said. You have that additional synergy we were talking about with the Trundle ult and the Syndra ult being really good at killing one target. Then Akali, a lot of dashes. She can facilitate for Hertel. That's all very idealistic. When you're considering everything that Hawks have to throw against you, you are not putting any thought into what they have. You are just playing your own game and hoping the enemy are not playing theirs.
Yeah, it does feel like they're playing Yu-Gi-Oh! They've dropped an Exodia in the deck. and then they've just kind of YOLO'd all of the rest of the cards. You know, they are hoping on the very niche ways to win, which are kind of difficult. But right now in the bot lane, a bit of trading there, as Reinhardt going to take a bit of damage. But Set with the Haymaker getting that shield, it does make it very difficult to get a lot of damage off.
I actually love the Yu-Gi-Oh analogy, because the way that they've done is they've actually put a deck together like from the show. And the only reason that the people in the show win is because they're the protagonist, right? At the end of the day, they do get to draw the perfect card every single time when it matters. Normal people don't get that, and unfortunately, I don't think for many people, V3 are the protagonists of the LJL.
It tells me that you don't believe in the heart of the cards, Melvin.
I believe in the heart of the cards, all right? You do not get to tell me I don't believe in the heart of the cards, but Pot of Greed is banned here, and I feel like Washide is just going to be going into their invis here completely fine on their own in isolation. Nothing too proactive coming out from either team, which, again, I'm going to say favors the Hawks.
Yeah, it does, definitely. I think the late game scaling for them is going to be pretty hard to deal with. Obviously, there is a lot of diving forwards, which will play nicely into the Xayah in the late game team fights, but there's only so much you can kite out, and obviously Set with the Kai'Sa, with the Gnar, with the Hecarim is a lot to handle.
I want to believe in V3, but I just can't bring myself to do it, you know?
I do agree. I feel similar, but I'm running on hopium. You know, I'm running on EU, England football levels of hopium right now that V3 could pull this through.
Well, I'm trying to, like, remove bias, because if you look at it at the end of the day, Akali and Syndra are very, very good high DPS targets, and there aren't really that many key tanks for Hawks. If you do ever get onto the Kai'Sa or do ever get onto the Rise, then it's really good, as they are looking for something here, but Hawks are here to counter.
3v3, Yujo going to flash away, but Hecarim going to bring them straight back into this fight. Dasher trying to get some damage down, but not finding major damage. Reiner going to pull back Hatel, who will flash away, and the Ignite ticking over, not going to be enough. So they are able to keep it stable. No one goes down, but V3 do not win the play that they proactively started.
And one of the things that I wanted from the Hawks is more priority on Dasher. Get them onto these kind of playmakers like the Rise, something that they have performed well on in the past. I want to see them on damage threats. I don't want to see them doing utility. There was a reason that this player was contesting Arya at the end of last split for the best mid laner. They haven't been doing it so much this time around. It's much more been the Jet show as far as it goes, at least for contenders to the top of DFM. So I need to see more of the old. Bring back some of that nice, fancy stuff that we can see on the Rise. It's a very good stylish champion. My only woe is that V3 actually have an extremely good comp for handling it.
Oh, no, they're going to get the slam against Washide in the top side. However, going to be able to stay alive, being invisible in the Shroud. But a little bit of a rough moment there for Washide, almost going pretty low. And I want to get your scope on Kai'Sa, right? Because Kai'Sa's been a pick that's changed a lot recently. Obviously, coming back into meta and also being very popular in the mid lane, sorry.
No, I knew what you meant, though, because one of the things is she does spike very heavily in the mid game as well. Once you get that triple evolve setup going for this initial Muramana build into AP after it, that's been the commonplace. But this looks like it's going to be Marble going full AD, not going for that poke alternative, just trying to make sure they are proactive in the team fights with the DPS.
And talking about proactive, it does look like V3 might be going for that early Drake. We do see that Blank has gone for the invade on Unica's jungle, so he might be trying to just gain those small advantages. Obviously already level 6 to the level 5 of the Trundle, but this early Drake Mountain, it's going to give them that little bit more resistance, which will be pretty nice for V3.
Not bad at all. One of the dragons you're happy with to get at the start of the game. Gives you a decent amount of stats as far as it goes. It's nothing super notable, but as far as it goes for the tempo of the game, I feel like I'd be remiss to not mention that Rift Herald spawning in 30 seconds, and every other game we've had full rotations over to the Herald. I see no reason why we won't be getting at least one team dedicating a hearty amount of resources to it.
And you love to see a good early team fight. 23 seconds on the clock. Unica going to try and get level 6 off these Krugs just before that. As Washide has managed to level out these level discrepancy with Kanatu, both level 7 at the moment.
That is a Hex Drinker, first item from Kanatsu. That is, I'm going to say, very respectful and quite clever, actually, because as far as it goes, it doesn't give Unica good stats to steal with the ultimate, because it's a shield at the end of the day, and it's only a conditional shield. So against Yu-Gi-Oh! And Washide, you are going to be very, very annoying to handle, and if we do ever see any lane swappy shenanigans, that will be the situation, especially side laning later on. Good choice, I like it.
It's pretty old school. I feel like it's very rare to see Hexrinker. I feel like I personally haven't built the item in a very long time.
Yeah. I think main reason it's starting to pop up again is because More is so good for people that build a lot of AD, just because of how they changed it now to scale off it. The other day, I was playing against a Jhin, and it was 4 items. I went to hit them, and I propped their More shield, and their health bar just refilled. And I have never felt so much pain trying to kill somebody as a humble victor, watching the Jhin just turn back at me and shake their head.
It's that perfect Vine. Although, hold on 1 second, Kanatu going to go aggressive onto Washidai. Going to drop so much damage with that boulder. Not even landing the full Gnar ultimate, just getting the swipe. But once again, Washidai not having the best of time, and it's seeming a little bit rough for this top side. You know, obviously, if this Akali can't really get snowballing, it does feel like it loses a lot of its potency.
Enjoy it while you can. We know the state of Akali right now. At the end of the day, this champion gets absolutely bonkers after they get one item, and once they get that one item, all it takes is a single good team fight, and suddenly this Akali could just 1v9 the game. So it's something that I'm not going to count them out yet. Yeah, obviously, Kanatsu's been having a great time in the lane so far, but this is the time where they need to be having a great time, and considering they're only 1 plate ahead, I don't know if that's enough.
Here comes Blank looking for Yucho. It's going to get stunned up, but does get the knockback, and Dasher going to be able to keep them still. There is the charge. The Onslaught Shadow is going to get the fear, and it's an easy kill, easy first blood over to Dasher. And talking about counting, Hecarim is very, very far ahead of this Trundle.
Yeah, that's the thing. Unica has just not been farming. They've been running around trying to look for plays, but when you aren't getting the plays done, that is just a big losing maneuver, as nothing else going to happen on this top side. Unica is doing what they can. You don't farm as fast as the Hecarim. That's kind of the point. Hecarim is very good at that, but very susceptible early. Trundle, the opposite. So by factor of Unica not getting a lot of ganks down, yeah, makes sense why it's going this way. And it's not great to see if you are hopeful for V3.
Yeah, and also picking up the Herald early on from Blank as well. But here's the replay once again, and it's pretty nice interactions all around.
Yeah, if anything, that actually really sealed Yu-Gi-Oh's fate, because by being further away, the Hecarim ult fear lasts a bit longer. So, you know, bit 5 head right there. Very well played by Blank. Completely intended interaction.
Yeah, I'll let them push me away for the longer fear. I like that thought. It's a good one as we obviously Dasher dropping a lot of damage onto Yu-Gi-Oh. Right, is really able to do the most through these minion waves.
In this bottom lane, we just haven't seen anything. And actually, I have seen Dresscode opt for the Gale Force as opposed to going for... We know they don't go for the lethality build right now because they don't have the standard Airy that pairs with that. But makes the most sense for the Xayah. You don't really want anything else. And it gives you the ability to dodge away from the Hecarim and the Gnar in team fights. So I like it. Makes a lot of sense. We'll have to see what this crit Xayah can really get done, as everybody's standing very aggressively in the mid lane, but Dragon's still not up for 40, and now Hawks have prio in the bot lane.
Yeah, it was a little bit overzealous. I feel like V3 have played this very slowly in the early game, when I feel like they should have really been trying to make the most of their advantages. As you said, the Trundle not really capped in the early game, very, very powerful indeed, and hasn't really been able to push an advantage, and it does make me worry a little bit. Obviously, 1-item power spikes, the Syndra and the Xayah do scale, but it does feel like the Hawks definitely having the better time with it being quite a quiet game.
It's really rough, because the more I look at these two teams, the more I think, actually, the Hawks don't necessarily scale to infinity if it's a crit Xayah. If it was the AP Xayah, and then V3 have no way to answer it, I would be very worried if I were V3. The fact that it is going for this kind of standard AD, I'm actually okay with it. I think V3 are fine to play for their first item, second item spikes, and then look for the team fights. Because at the end of the day, if you just look at raw abilities, Hecarim ult, Gnar TP into ult, way, way more than anything else we see from V3. And I think that that's the real thing that they are a bit scared of, and I would definitely say rightfully so.
Yeah, what should I? Kanatu going to have another scrap in the top side, and it's been the same way every time we've seen it. What should I? Just getting slightly outclassed in this matchup. Kanatu having a bit of a better time. As we did see the Herald in the mid, they're going to give a few plates gold over to Dasher. And this Dragon being left open, neither team really surging to go for that just yet, as Blank is lurking around in this red side jungle.
I can't remember who said it, but I saw in the chat that somebody said this would be the longest game and a win for V3. Right now, we're looking half of that, but with that kill, not the other.
Yeah, and they're finding a very, very simple kill onto Oshidai, just running up easily, going to be able to take them off the map. But does that potentially open up for the Dragon? Obviously, Hecarim on the top side does mean that there is no smite for the side of the Hawks on the bot side, and it does look like they are going to take advantage of that.
Will be a lot of plates going over for Kanatsu though in the top lane, and no TP from Washide means that it's going to be a bit rough for this Akali. It was already poor. You can see if you look at the itemization that it's 136 MR NAR pushing in on the top lane. That's harder to say than I thought it'd be. And it makes it nigh impossible for the Akali to actually get anything done until they finish that Rift Maker and start weaving in a bit of true damage off it.
Yeah, I will say, League of Legends kind of does what they want, you know, a lot of the time. I've never really understood why Akali is AP.
I mean,
that
she was
just me?
originally hybrid, right? That was the whole point. Because she was hybrid, that's why she would always build Hextech Gunblade. But then post-rework, yeah, they kind of just went full AP and there was no chance at the hybrid. Why? Are you implying that she should be AD? Or that the hybrid was the correct way?
She throws physical daggers. I feel like like she hits you with a shuriken flip and then slices you. It just feels very AD focused for.
It's visceral, I see you, yeah.
Like, what magic are they using? Like, obviously, Naruto, they do use some magic as well, but...
Well, no, because even then they throw down a smoke bomb, right? All they're doing is running around and hitting you. So, yeah, okay, I'm becoming open. If anything, why is Zed not AP in that logic?
Exactly.
Because he summons shadows and throws things around. Like, half of the things he does are just illusions. And if that's not magic, I don't know what is. All right, I see you. We've got a conspiracy going on here.
Yeah, I've never really understood that about Akali. Like, when she was hybrid, it makes sense, right? Because you can weave a little bit of magic into those autos, but right now she just hits you in the face. I'm like, is that magic? I don't really know. I would be, if Darren Brown did that on the show, I'd be very disappointed.
He just throws a shuriken at an audience member. It's like, what da-da? I did it. Astounding maneuver. That was a sideline I wasn't expecting to go down in this game, but I enjoyed it nonetheless, as V3 have rotated up for this Herald. While Blank will get that Scuttle Crab, they are being routed away. I don't think that Hawks should want to contest this. I say that, but V3 don't want to either, apparently.
Yeah, I thought we were going to get a 5v5 for a second there. Everyone was kind of posturing. Hawks was starting to move in, and then both teams were like, yeah, you know, it's not worth it. And the top tower are going to go down as well. So that's the second tower for Hawks. They're starting to build a bit of a gold lead now. 5k in the lead already, 16 minutes in.
So V3 rotated first, lost top tower, and now lost the Rift Herald. That is all.
Yeah, it seems like maybe they're playing for late game, you know, maybe they're playing for a real late game strat, or maybe they're going in for the steal here. Heto is going to be slammed down and immediately removed from the game. They are able to try and get a bit more of a fight in this one as the onslaught shadows does come through, but no members of Hawks have dropped.
They won the smite flip. This is V3's Herald and they can't pick it up. So all that happened was they traded a member for the Herald. I'm still not going to go back and say that that's worth, but at least they deny Hawks having it.
They do deny it. Obviously, it would have been better if they'd maybe been able to pick it up, but that is sometimes easier said than done. And agreed, yeah. Denying it is better than nothing, you know. I think losing one kill there isn't going to be a game breaker, and the Herald definitely could have been.
I really don't want to do the analysis for this play. I'm going to be asked with you, my friend, because this is Unica just walking forward as Hatel, brilliantly duped by Rhino. I will give them the credit for that one. Goes in, gets completely locked up, gives the set the full-on access to the backline, and just becomes a massive zoner in the middle. As part of the benefit of this set support is you can waste so much time in the early. You don't scale as well as other traditional supports like the Rakan, because you don't get that gold income a set really needs. In the early game, though, we can see why Ryan in particular is so damn good on this champion, because you could just be a brick wall that no other support really gets to mimic.
And I feel like set just makes a lot of sense, right? Like, if we just look at the anime world, Reiner is the Armored Titan. That's a spoiler, but to be honest, it's 9 years old. If you haven't watched that episode by now, like, dude, you're never going to watch it. It's 9 years old, come on. But it's a sentiment of like,
hey, I was on the episode before then, what the heck?
He goes forward and he charges in and he smashes up walls, and I feel like Set really perfectly embodies that.
No, I definitely get it, and I mean, they've got the nice skin to go along with it. I'm expecting that eventual crossover as Oh no. Oh, Kanatsu, you can't do this every single time. I feel like I've seen that exact trade pattern go down maybe 4 times at this point, and it hasn't changed whatsoever.
It almost
Story
feels
of
like
the game.
watching an educational video of how to play Gnar into Akali. Like, this is
Step
the
1,
trade.
Hex Drinker. Step 2, Mercury Treads. Step 3, rinse and repeat this single set play of jumping in while you level up into your Mega Gnar, killing the Akali, or at least half-barring her every time. This is a mini Gnar TPing into the fight.
All V3 now trying the dragon, but it's a big engage coming through, and Set in the middle of this fight has just messed it all up. Washide, though, going to be joining in close to killing Marble, but not going to be able to get there just yet. Reiner will finally fall down, but Washide is also going to drop, and Kanatu and Unica just having a battle of the beasts, but it's going to be Gnar that comes out on top.
And step 5, dominate the team fights with your teleport maneuvers on Kanatsu. Very well played by the Hawks, as I finally get to return to a normal voice, as they are going to very handedly take this game away. Bounties are enabled, and I feel like that's just become like the League of Legends signature for, oh no, the game is out of hand.
No, indeed. It is definitely a bit of a worrying
Look
moment
at this
to see that early.
collapse. It's all angles. V3 are actually just trapped like rats in this pit. Doesn't get the full-on facebreaker stun is Reiner, but everybody is just destroyed, clumped up together. And Kanatsu actually has a great time going off, just chasing the remaining 2 members. Oh my god, I was looking at the top side, so I didn't see how close that was.
It was.
Oh, pain.
It is definitely Spain, no S, and yeah, when you're there, the Hecarim just sweeps. It doesn't matter that he can't see you. You know, he just does that AOE. And yeah, it's not looking the best for V3. You know, maybe they're trying to lure them into a trapdoor kind of angle. Maybe they're like, okay, we'll give them the lead.
Maybe they try to escape the trapdoor at this point. They've been stuck in this basement for the entire season. Please, just let V3 out. Let them win a game already. I somehow have a major doubt that this is going to be the time where it happens, but yeah, I don't know. Poor team. We talked about earlier. This is just meant to be time for you to allow these players to get some breathing room on stage, build up some proficiency. I think that giving it champions like Akali, where you have the ability to style, the potential to outplay your opponents, is good. Unfortunately, we saw firsthand over and over again, Kanatsu is very good at League of Legends. They are very good at the Gnar, as they are in fact an LJL player, and they now have the Maw of Malmortius. Washide is about to get brutally beaten in this top lane, as even if this fight looks like it's going to go poorly for Kanatsu, I imagine we're about to see the single set maneuver again.
Yeah, it does feel very likely. The boulder, they're going to come through. No jumping.
Ooh,
so
okay.
Switching it up, keeping them
a
on their
new
toes.
lesson from the master. Please teach us more, Kanatsu. Outstanding. I thought that with the school fire alarm analogy, that was going to be the end of the teaching for the day, but no, Kanatsu, keep it going. They are all on their own in the middle of no man's land, though. I feel like this may be a bit of a greedy overextend for some wolves that will not be punished.
He is able to get away, and I want to know, is there like history as to why Gnar is so popular in this region, or is it just that everyone likes playing it?
I don't even, it's just, everybody loves their Gnar, everybody loves their Renekton, and we just accept it, all right? You don't have to talk about
it. It's just the facts. It's the facts. It is what it is. And that's what they play. I you know what? I like it. I like Gnar as a champion. You know, I think he's fun.
It's like Fight Club. We don't talk about the Gnar Renekton.
Well, we're talking about Fight Club. Washide is in a lot of trouble. This is a big scrap, and there is the play. The jump forward into the Gnar, but are good. Sonya's will keep them safe, and they are able to get out. It's in the mid lane. Marble in a bit of trouble here, but not going to go down. Not enough damage, and now it's going to be Hetel in trouble. Gets picked up, and yeah, the Hawks are basically just able to kind of keep themselves alive and just kind of play exactly what they want to play. They aren't really under any threat from V3 so far.
Crispy clean stuff, being able to escape from that one. The Baron is on the table, but I think that securing that next Infernal is going to be the priority. Looks like they will shift everybody over to it right now, getting that prepared at very least. If Washide stays on the bottom side, they do have the teleport available soon, but haven't based in a little while. Let's see what actually happened in this mid lane, because I feel like it was just Marble stepping up to clear the minion wave. No, they went in onto dress code thinking they were alone then, and then it was the instant re-engage from Hetel. But, and here's the important part, Watch Dash's root catches them out of midair. Oh, it's just painful. The only birds here will be the Hawks.
Yeah, and it's not too fun, you know, when you're Rakan and you just get locked down immediately, and then Rise just does Rise things, which is a lot of damage.
He's got a force of nature, by the way. I just saw that in the inventory. I was like, huh, am I seeing double and my glasses not on?
they have decided to build that one, and right now Hawks just forcing V3 away from literally every fight, every objective. There was potential of them to maybe start Baron in terms of that's what they looked to do. I don't know if it would have been a wise decision, but they're just not going to be able to play some League of Legends. It just feels very Hawks favored, and I don't really see a way V3 getting back into this one. I'm not gonna lie.
Neither do I, friend. Neither do I, as this is not going to be it, oddly enough. And the worst part is, because of how the Hawks comp works, they're able to go secure this dragon, and even if V3 put on the most miraculous play, starting off this Baron, getting the big turn, Rise Ultimate is enabled, so you can just rotate over hints instantly. It is not safe for you to go for anything. I don't know if Hawks even want to go for the Baron, if they're just going to try and end it slowly otherwise. I feel like they need it to crack open the base. It's just a matter of when as opposed to if.
Yeah, and second dragon, they're going to give them even more damage. The Infernals are starting to stack, and things are starting to heat up, you know, for the Hawks. They are getting pretty strong across this map, and their gold lead is not decreasing. 12k now, 24 minutes in, and I do agree with you. It's kind of when the Baron rather than if, and I think that it's going to be pretty soon.
Also, for the record, I got baited by the Serrated Dirk earlier. I forgot that that was part of the Kai'Sa build order that you need to hit all 3 evolves. So this is going to be the standard mid-game spike that Marble will be hitting. As you'll see very soon, they're going to become a monster on the Rift and completely untouchable for V3. So yeah, that one hope angle, it's gone.
Ooh, big stun there. Does get the kill. Reiner going to be immediately remove. V3 finding some damage and maybe can turn this into a big objective.
Kanats is in the base though, so you need to be quick. He is going to be knocking on the inhib, and you're chunked out on dress code. You have to get out. You can't even stick around. Oh, it's brutal. If Hawks want to, they could just take over the Baron for themselves, if not look to chase.
They are potentially looking for the chase dash and not taking their own warp, though, as Yu-Gi-Oh! Going to step forward. There's the damage. What should I coming out of the shadows, looking for the kill, but Dasher is taking almost no damage here. Blank also pretty tanky, able to get away there. It's in the backline. We do see Kanatu has made their way down. That's going to be a big kill on the Syndra, and Unica trying to run away will just be out of Void Seeker range. But V3 just losing on all fronts. They lose the bottom in here, but they don't get Baron. And Ryder maybe going to be able to pick up a kill here. Slams down Washidai. I'm going to pull him back. There is the Haymaker. Not enough damage, but a good dodge away from the Void Seeker will keep him alive. The Ignite ticks over. And Akali will go down, and that's going to be Baron for the side of Hawks.
Oh man, one of the few ways they could have dissuaded this was if Washidai gets the TP back in, but that's going to be it. This is, I'm going to say, officially lights out. We've been talking like it's been lights out the whole time. And this is a nice pick onto Reiner. They're trying to do something at very least. Desperation plays are essential when you are this far behind. It took a bit too long though, as yay, you kill the set in front of the Baron. If they manage to get this stuff onto Blank instead, it's a very different story and you can genuinely threaten the Baron. But look at this poke coming out from Marble the whole way. Now the AP Kai'Sa tech is coming online. And Dasher is a 3k HP rise. That's all I'm going to say for this bit. Yep.
Yeah. It's it's not a lot of movement on the health bar. Not gonna lie, it didn't really go anywhere. And Ganatu just showing exactly what Nard does, just picking off someone on the back line. And I'm not gonna lie, this Kai'Sa, we've seen it a few times. I've seen it across other regions as well, and the AP build is just so much damage on those Void Seekers.
And when you don't have hard engage, which we already complained about, the V3 comp does not, Rakan doesn't count, it's not consistent, it's a follow-up engage, or it's a pick tool, it won't be your overall win the game engage, hasn't been that for a long time now. You just lose to this Kai'Sa build, because they can outpoke you, and as long as your team, for the Hawks in this case, doesn't get very greedy and doesn't step too far up, you're fine.
Yeah, they are potentially fine, but the Hawks are going to be able to pick up that tier 3 top, and now looking for the inhib, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Is just taking so much damage from this Kai'Sa.
They die to another one because you get to keep the stacks up. The Kai'Sa evolve means every time you hit, the cooldown goes down to like 2 seconds flat. It's insanity.
Oh, finally misses one. That is going to be a bit of breathing room for V3, but all 3 inhibs are down. The Baron buff minions are pushing. The 2 towers are starting to crumble. Are they ready to rumble? V3, you got to make a play.
But what if we didn't? That's my question for you, J-Real. What if V3 just decided not to? Oh, finally.
Oh, here we go. They're going to go in, and there is the stun, but they just dump all of the damage onto V3. They dash in, they flash in, they just make too much noise for the V3 boys, and the Hawks are going to pick up the win in a pretty... Well, what the hell is going on now? They're on the fountain. They take the base. I feel like it was a relatively one-sided game.
It was exactly as expected coming into the day, and is exactly what we will get. Nicely done by the Hawks, as V3 once again going to fall. Ah, it's a tragedy. I've busted out the world's smallest violin for that one.
You said this one was officially over. It's now officially, unofficially over as well, as we are going to go to the breakdown desk. We're going to have a short break, and then we'll be back with Temporal.
Can we bring to fall the giants? 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 We are the ones to ignite the darkened skies, the champions of the world that we defy. A solar ray of the few who rise up high, and we all fight at the last. We were born from light before there even was a dawn. So pure, so bright, falling from the skies above into our darkened fate. The time has come. Walking through this world, we bear the secret of our lives. The light we share, caught in destiny, we shine, for we are meant to be the star guardians. Gone in a flash before our time. Up in the skies together, the vow we have made has yet.
Sorry, I fell asleep.
Congratulations to the Hawks on their victory today over V3. Congratulations to Kanatu for graduating school. I hope that went well for you, clearly, as well as this game. V3 looked nervous in this game. J-Real, talk us through that Herald fight one more time.
Yeah, well, he said he graduated potentially in NAR studies because he just schooled Washidai on this top lane. It was just rough, and we said the Akali had to get ahead to do movements, and they weren't able to do that. I feel like V3 for me, the main problem was that they just seemed really hesitant. Like, I think you can only get 5 of those on your driving test. They definitely made way more of those. They would have failed that, and I thought that's a big reason they lost.
We saw one fight at the Herald where there was actually some champions within a few teamos of each other. Can you take us through that fight one more time? If you remember it. If not, never
No,
mind.
I mean, if I'm recalling correctly, that was when we had Hatel on the Rakan jump in and then got sidestepped by got sidestepped and then bodied. That was the rest of the story. That was the whole thing that happened.
They did get the objective.
Yeah,
They,
I'm
you know,
sorry.
100 gold.
Unica
at
smited
least.
away the Rift Herald, and then didn't die. So yes, I apologize for not giving you the full picture of our one team fight that game.
That's all V3 got this game, really, unfortunately. With this victory, Fukuoka SoftBank HAWKS Gaming now do lead Axis by 1 victory, and they have the head-to-head 2-0 of Axis. I think 2-0. Anyway, we'll get back to that one. They have the head-to-head regardless. Now, gentlemen, a question. Does Crest fall all the way down the standings? Do Axis suffer this final defeat at the hands of the Hawks? Which way will this battle for 6th conclude? Gabriel first.
I think there is definitely the fear that this occurs. I think that's why Middlecourt woke up at 11. I don't believe that there was any alarm set. I feel like he was having nightmares of CGA losing and had to check that it wasn't true. And then he woke up to watch them lose. So it's definitely something that could occur. I think that it's unlikely because I don't believe in Axis picking up many more wins in the rest of their season. And I think that they need to get at least 2 more to even contest CGA. So I would say it's unlikely, but it would be pretty funny.
Be pretty funny. So you see Axis coming out in that 7th place, locked out of playoffs. Melvin, what are your feelings on the battle for 6th?
I definitely have to agree because I was just taking a quick look at what the expected matchups are for the future weeks, and CGA still have to play both Hawks and Axis, but even assuming they manage to lose both of them, V3 is one of their games and then the other is DFM. If they win one more, then they are pretty much out of arm's reach of Axis unless Axis finish off with a perfect split. So outside of like the Schalke Miracle Run situation, it's done. CGA, they've made playoffs. Everybody can rest their weary heads. Plus, it's the coin flip team anyway, so I'm expecting them to win at least to get to that 10-11 or 11-10 kind of mark. So don't worry too much about them.
We're expecting 50-50 from CGA, and with that, we do expect the Hawks to proceed to playoffs. Axis struggling now to make that come through. We saw a pretty predictable outcome from V3 here. The team really didn't show up on the day. Is there anything you want to talk about in respect to that, Melvin, first? If you say no, that is a valid answer.
No.
No, we've played the violin. J-Real, anything to add on to this swan song?
Yeah, I'm glad that they played new picks. I'll say that. I'm glad that they played new picks. I'm glad that they're trying to keep it fresh. I think they just have to fully YOLO the next few games. Like, play stuff that you want to try practice, play stuff that you maybe think is new, play stuff that you think you're really comfortable in that you play in solo queue, and just see if it works. You know, you don't have anything to lose. Just use this as practice. Like, it's the best practice you're ever going to get for your next split. So I think for V3, try the new stuff. Look to make something happen, because why not just give it a go? You know, just don't stay stuck in the old ways. But I think the hesitation was definitely the big killer for V3.
More scrims in officials, not a bad idea at all, JRL. With that, this has been the LJL OU. I've been Temporal, joined by JRL and Melvin Izzle Swan earlier in the day. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll catch you tomorrow. Monday, Sunday, days of the week. Sunday, 9 a.m. UTC. I remember what the days of the week are. Help, send help, and we'll see you next time.